it became clear to me as I looked through my entire practice in the past 10 years or so, and I see that there's a real tendency for young guys in the world today. And I say young because I'm just saying anything younger than me, right?
Yeah.
Like young guys to then self-diagnose as narcissistic and then potentially sociopathic, and then think that they have to then do somehow like a disguise and hide that from the world. They need to hide from the world and their girlfriends for sure that they have this internal drive to succeed and to be noticed and recognized for their efforts. You see
were
that?
Were the guys you talking about, were they saying this shit?
Last night one of them specifically told me this. Yes, this really was one of the guys admitted it, and then as he did, everyone was nodding along. Like, yeah, me too. Like as if it was a collective. We all have to hide this aspect of ourselves because society today does not like this aspect of what men are. What is your thought about that, good sir?
A bunch of different thoughts. One is, there is, as you're saying, there's this societal message that a man who wants to achieve that's toxic or something. And so then men see that society has that message and they get scared and they see they have that tendency, so they feel like they need to hide it. So to some degree, they're right that they need to hide it or be careful in how they show it, right?
Yeah.
So it's less about these guys who are feeling that way, and it's more about the societal message, really, I'd say. Because you could say, well, fuck, don't hide it. Just like anyone who doesn't like that trait, and go tell them to fuck off, which that's true. But then maybe their family is, has this kind of woke thing, or their wife or whatever, and what are they just going to fucking burn all the bridges in their whole life?
Not likely, no.
So I don't. But then I guess if we get into this a little bit more, it's like maybe the guy who said that, he kind of believes this societal message.
Definitely, he definitely did, and I think psychology is complicit in this, in the creation of this myth, right?
Yeah, it's kind of this tricky line between, okay, so in the human, like, evolutionary psychology, maybe particularly male evolutionary psychology, we're kind of evolved to and wired to sort of compete for alpha status. That's sort of just like part of our biological heritage, is this like competition for alpha status in the tribe, competition for sexual opportunity or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that part is in us. And if that just goes unchecked, then that could start to seem psychopathic, where you just want to kill all other men and have sex with all other women. But it seems like it could be that impulse exists in everybody, right?
Sure.
And then you just want to balance, you just want to temper it, and you want to balance it with coexisting with other people in a peaceful way. So there's this kind of balancing between this natural evolutionary competitive drive versus cooperating, collaborating, and living harmoniously with other people. And that balance is it's freaking tricky. And I think with the woke societal movement, it just got out of balance, where people just thought harmony and cooperation with others is 100% should be good, and the competitive drive is totally bad. And so it just got tweaked out of balance.
I see. This was your attempt to be optimistic. It was good. I like it, right? Because you went back to simple human nature, right? But as I was listening, I think it was Jordan was explaining to Joe Rogan, and he's saying, yeah, 4% of the population is psychopathic by nature. And so they learn, for the most part, to disguise it. And that's exactly what the guy was explaining to me at dinner, right? Exactly. He was saying, oh, man, I have to disguise this. Oh, I realize it right away. Because I was telling him, like, yeah, dude, you remember when we were in grad school, we had to take the MMPI, I think, or I can't remember which test it was. And I remember then we got to score our own things, or we had a friend, another classmate had to score yours, right? And I think Camilla scored mine, and my narcissism bubbles were completely full. Like, I had scored maxed out. I was triple maxi for narcissism. And I was like slightly embarrassed, but then I looked at her and I was like, huh, well, that's weird, right? Like, fuck, I guess I scored super high in narcissism. And then came the histrionic one. And I was completely triple maxied in that too. Like, the desire to be center of attention was super strong for me as a teenager and into my 20s. And I really had to suppress that because it just was almost clown-like. And I've steered myself far away from social media for that reason, right? Like, very early on, I was like, dude, I'm just going to become one of those, like guys taking anabolic steroids and then estrogen to make it so that I'm shredded and I have a whole Instagram post. It's all just me as a god, right? And I do have that tendency, and I really was like, oh, this is going to be horrible. Like, I do not want to be that guy. It would be very lonely and scary.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? So look at, here I started out as like, oh, look at those guys have this problem. But seriously, like, I too have struggled to figure out how to exist with certain traits and qualities that are, I don't know, somewhat considered masculine.
Well, and okay, so the woke worldview says that having those qualities is horrible, and you're a narcissist and you're a psychopath. So you need to cleanse yourself of those qualities. But that's imbalanced to one extreme. But then if you just like totally went full on to do those qualities, that would be imbalanced to the other extreme. But so there is this need for a balance, and it's tricky. Let's use it as a specific example. Let's say you go out with a few of your guy friends at night, and you're all single, and you're going to maybe go try to talk to ladies, and you're at a place, and there's some hot lady. Now, how your different guy friends handle this, it's kind of a delicate, tricky thing, you know? Yeah. And if one dude just like ignores the friends and he's just always the first to go talk to the hottest chicks, you guys are going to get annoyed with him because he's not. But if he takes it to the other balance and he's scared and he never will talk to her because he doesn't want to piss you off, that's the other extreme. And it's kind of like guys need to just figure this balance out, you know?
That's a good example. I like that example because it's real and it is healthy, right? As opposed to these vagaries of superficial charm, lack of remorse or guilt. Like, once you put it in these like empty terms, and it's like, what are we even saying? Like, we're describing Patrick Bateman from American Psycho, right?
Yeah.
I like it when you put it in the terms of like, we each have this task of trying to figure out how you're going to actually, everyone's single, everyone decides, all right, let's go out and we're going to meet some ladies, right? I mean, if you're a dude and you haven't been on a banded together task like this, then you should probably go do this right now. Right?
And a dude who's truly psychopathic wouldn't really be able to do that because the guys wouldn't want to hang out with him.
That's right.
And a dude who's fully emasculated also wouldn't really be able to do that because that would be toxic, you know?
Yeah, and then that dude would actually be kind of an anchor to the crew. And then I think the alternative is even stranger when you think about what has this message done to women? as they are given basically like full license to express all of their dark triad, their psychopathic, narcissistic tendencies. And so then you see these women frequently on dating apps just saying crazy things like, you know, what really relaxes me is a 5-course meal, and then we take a little trip to my favorite stores and I buy a few things.
Yeah, have you seen women on dating apps say that?
I literally read that this morning.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then she goes on to say like, this just really helps me relax. And it was just like, dude, you can't find a more narcissistic display, because it wasn't like, oh, this is what I do with my hard-earned money. Or to say like, you know what helps me relax is I go for a run and then I meditate. Right? Like, no,
right.
What helps me relax is I exploit you for your money and then get some stuff, some high quality things like Gucci bags. Yeah. Which, like, there's nothing more narcissistic than this, right? Like, I'm literally just going to acquire status symbols and you're going to give them to me.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just, I can't believe you haven't seen this. I hope it's not just like accentuated.
I certainly know the phenomenon. I just didn't. I've never seen a dating app profile where it's just spelled out that boldly.
It's funny, man. It's like a really strange thing to see, like women embracing these tendencies and qualities, and then dudes finding themselves like, shit, I better hide that as fast as possible. Right? Do you think I'm onto something, or is it, this might be a lot of my own self-projection, though. I'm willing to admit.
I think the point that you're making, that men have to hide their narcissism and women are encouraged to flaunt their narcissism, I think that's totally true, and it's totally fucked up, and I can't believe people are not more aware of how stupid that is.
Perfect.
Enter the Freud.
This is for entertainment purposes only. It is no way medical advice.